Oh yeah, actually, you know what? We had a conversation about the Sunday scaries. I do think that it helps to label them the Sunday scaries. I think when you label something, you separate yourself. If you're able to label it, you actually separate yourself from it a little bit. And so when you're in it, you can be like, oh yeah, these are the Sunday scaries. And I definitely get them. Do you guys?
Yeah, and I think that was kind of part of my anxiety, probably. Like starting the new work week, kid back in school, just all the new changes. And so yeah.
The weather is helping.
Yeah.
We are, correct me if I'm wrong, are we below average?
We should be in the low 80s.
We should be in the low 80s right now here in Chicago? Well,
yeah, we could get there again next week. So
Yeah.
I don't think we're done with like the warmer weather, but we're definitely on a pattern here. Through the end of the week, the 70s, if not the 60s, are expected.
I keep finding around my yard crispy brown leaves that have fallen.
Oh no.
And yeah, that just always, it's like that, those little indications of fall.
Yeah.
Where you're like, no.
If only it lasted, right? Because that's the whole issue. It's like, it's really nice, but then it gets really cold.
When fall is good in Chicago, though,
It's great.
It's great.
Football season.
Yeah.
Being
When
outside,
it's good,
like you said, the crunchy leaves.
do you have any indication on whether it's going to be a good fall or not? Because sometimes it's rainy and gray,
Right.
and it's awful, and
Right.
you're just like, oh no, where'd summer go?
Do
you have any indication?
No.
Or is that just, how far, actually how far do reliable forecasts go out? Like you guys have a 7-day, a 10-day, how confident do you feel in those last, like?
Not very.
Not very.
Ballpark. For example, this weekend, we're looking at dry skies. Could that forecast change? Yes. At this vantage
Okay.
point.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, would it ever be possible to project like 15 days out with any amount of accuracy?
No.
Not possible.
I don't think so. No.
So if you log on to some app and it gives you a
My
forecast
wedding's
for
in 3 months from now.
No, not 3 months, of course not. But like 15 days out,
No.
2 weeks out.
I don't think so. No.
You'd put no stock in it.
No. Nope. Nope. Some people do, but then it changes.
How about the Farmer's Almanac?
Were you here that day that we talked about the Farmer's Almanac?
I think we mentioned it in passing.
well, no.
Okay.
I don't know. I am not a climatologist, so I do not study the climate in like long-term form.
What's the difference between a climatologist and a meteorologist?
Just that. Meteorologist is more of like a now forecast
And now.
or the next couple of days.
Okay.
You know, climatology is a lot of history,
Okay.
remembering, historical data and facts and then looking forward and forecasting and
What does La Nina and El Nino fall under? Climatology or meteorology? Does that kind of ride the 50-yard line? Kind of both.
Kind of
Because it
both.
does kind of affect things.
the weather.
Yeah.
Did you get a pumpkin spice speaking of fall?
PSL,
is
we're
one
going
of our
to be
trending
we are
topics
going to
for
be speaking
today.
about this today. Yes, they
you get
are
one?
releasing no. Actually, I do want to give a retroactive thank you to our 9 a.m. producer Perry.
Oh.
Who for the first time ever gifted me a pumpkin spice latte. I think it was 2 falls ago. I had never had one.
I remember that.
I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, I remember that.
I did enjoy it. I liked it. It's one of those things where I tasted it, there we go, with love, the PSL.
Cute.
I could see where the hype came from tasting it, but I have not had one since. I think I just...
You wouldn't know this then. Does Starbucks use actual pumpkin in their
That's a great
pumpkin
question.
spice latte?
I'm hearing yes.
Or is it just a syrup? I'm curious. So we've got the topics here because there's 2 more fall-centric special items, a pecan oat milk cortado.
Cortado?
What is that?
I have no idea what a cortado is.
What is a cortado? I was a barista and I don't know what
It
a
means,
cortado.
I know corto means short, so is it a shorter pour?
Pecan oat milk.
Cortado. And then, hey, listen, the Italian sausage egg bites, that sounds good to me.
I really like their spinach goat
Yeah,
cheese,
it's
or is it feta? Spinach feta
one
wrap
of them.
for breakfast. Delish.
Maggie bought my mom a, what are they called? The duvet, not duvet.
Yeah, duvet
That's what
cover.
goes on your, it's a fancy word like that though. It's for eggs and it kind of goes in the water. What is it?
Tuvet.
Tuvet? Suvet. I said duvet, it's suvet.
Okay.
And it's kind of a complicated little mechanism, but somehow it uses water to give those. Have you ever had the egg bites at Starbucks?
No.
They're really tasty.
Dunkin' Donuts has a version.
Okay.
Of it. Yeah.
But it's kind of a complex gourmet.
Are they like little?
Yeah, they're like
little egg chunks. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do. I know what you mean.
But it's different than a hard-boiled egg, and it's different than it's almost halfway between.
Oh.
Scrambled and like poached. It's like it's good.
A little protein snack.
Exactly. So anyway, the arrival date for the fall menu, it's been inching earlier and earlier over the years, now landing here in August. Since this used to hit in mid-September. I would love to hear from folks if they're excited. Anita Blanton is like, this is a national holiday in her mind.
She loves it.
I don't know about all this creeping forward stuff, because there's a line. Because like I heard you and Natalie talking.
Fall
You're
decor.
Going with fall decor today. I know Natalie
this
is.
Weekend.
She's
doing
decorating.
Halloween, yeah.
She said that she's going Halloween decorations today while the weather's good.
You know, that's part of it with the Christmas stuff too. You know, like I get a lot of heat about decorating for Christmas the day after Halloween, but I'm not out there when it's brutally cold.
Nice.
Setting stuff up. I'm with you. I think creeping earlier and earlier, it makes you almost not appreciate it as much. At least I realized that last year. Like we weren't even at Christmas yet because I had the decorations up so soon. One day I came home and my husband was like, this is a lot. Like I feel like I'm overwhelmed with this Christmas decor. We need to, let's par it back. So then we were packing stuff up before Christmas was even over, and I wanted the Christmas tree down. So this year I think we're gonna wait. But
On
the fall
Christmas.
stuff, I don't know. I got the mums because my summer flowers died.
Yeah.
So I just ripped those out,
Yeah.
threw in some mums.
And those
are
last till
fall.
mid-November. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's
don't
what I
know.
did. My Christmas lights never came down. I'm trying it this year. They have not come down.
Is that tacky?
So I've got no. They haven't been lit up.
Can you see them? Is it like a white string of light?
Yeah, you can't see them.
Oh.
So essentially, no, not tacky. Well, I
Okay.
mean, maybe ask my neighbors if it's tacky. I don't plug them in, but they're up. And I've plugged them in a couple times just to see if they still work. But this was Maggie's idea because it takes me forever. I don't outsource. There's too many people in my neighborhood that outsource their Christmas lights and their decorations.
And they look great.
They look amazing, but you know what? So does the display at the mall.
Yeah.
Those look amazing too, but you know what? You didn't do it yourself. Okay? And so I give it a big thumbs down. Oh, you just outsource, you throw money at the problem?
Yeah. I wish I could do that.
No. If you had the money, I don't want you doing that.
Oh.
You have no sense of ownership on your Christmas decor. You've got the blazing, fancy stuff, but you do not. Clark Griswold would be disappointed, and all the people that outsource.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, this was Maggie's idea last year. It takes me so long to string them around all these hedges and stuff around our house. She's like, just leave them up.
In the plants.
They're in they're called yews. You know, it's like the Edward Scissorhands looking.
You put them in the. Are they on your house or just?
They're
in
not
the
on my
plants?
house. They're just on the bushes.
Oh, I was picturing
exactly.
them like lining your house. Which, by the way, people actually get these like hardwired lights these days, and they leave them up all year round.
Yes.
It's like a new trend. I forget what they're called. That's a way to do it too, I guess.
That's kind of I think that's acceptable.
My lights were so bad last year. Grady's not a fan of like putting Christmas. I haven't.
It takes a while, and so I'm doing that. The only problem, and so I've been kind of taking inventory of how this whole process is working. The only problem with it is that it makes it. I've had to trim. The hedges need to be trimmed from time to time, and like I have, broken some lights here and there. And so that's. I'm gonna reassess after this. I'm gonna reassess.
Let's just do.
So far, I would say it is. Yeah, exactly.
A couple lights.
Okay, another trending item other than the PSL, and more power to you if you're ready for these.
I think I'm gonna try one today. By the way.
Just out of,
I'll take a pick.
TSA has some new bans in effect.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, Labor Day weekend is going to be huge. TSA just banned cordless hairstyling tools from checked luggage due to fire hazards. So this is checked luggage. This is stuff that we're not even talking about carry-on. You can't even have these things in your checked baggage. We're talking about curling irons or flat irons that contain lithium metal or lithium ion batteries. Okay, curling irons or flat irons that are gas or butane fueled.
What?
Okay, ladies. We got a few ladies here in studio. Show of hands, does anyone have a gas or butane fueled curling iron?
Unfortunately, I don't.
No. Have you heard of these? Are they popular? I'm picturing like a chainsaw or like, you know, your lawnmower. All right, we're good to go. You know what I'm saying? Like
This
a
is
gas
wild.
powered.
From like 1965 or something.
Okay, 1965, maybe they go out. Anyway, butane fuel curling irons out. Don't even think about traveling with
Gas
those.
refills for your curling iron. What? I didn't even know that you could get cordless.
I want to see a visual of this.
A cordless?
Yeah, I have one of those.
Cordless.
Oh.
Is it a lithium-ion battery?
I don't know.
Okay, better be careful, Adina. Next time you fly.
It's like a travel thing.
Okay,
Wow.
well, okay, now Adina is saying, if you can't hear her mic off camera, that it was marketed as a travel thing because, yeah, cordless, it's great, easy, throw it in your bag. No, though. Fines of up to 17,000. I mean, no one's gonna.
Here's my question.
17,000
Is the
bucks.
cord really taking up that much space?
That's a good question.
Like, why would they? You could just wrap it up, right? Wrap that baby up. It's not in the
All right,
way.
Caitlin, have you ever had something confiscated by TSA?
When I was a kid, we went to Germany.
Oh, there we go. That does not look gas powered. That looks like a lithium ion. Do not do it.
I don't know.
Do not do it or face the consequences.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was a kid,
Kind of a slick looking product there. But keep it at home, kids.
look at the short little handle thing on that. That's interesting.
Not bad.
Okay. She's all right.
Have you ever had anything confiscated?
Yes, right. When I was a kid, we went to Germany. I was probably in 4th, 5th grade. No, maybe I was in middle school. I
Okay.
don't remember. Young girl. Anyways, I was such a nerd, bless you. I had like a jar and I filled it up with Germany dirt to bring to my best friend. Brought it on the airplane. They didn't confiscate it. But
And it
this
was
is one
just
of
for
those-
like, here's some German soil for you. Like,
because I
for
was
your-
just such a.
That's cute.
Yeah, so I brought it.
That's
but
kinda
no,
thoughtful.
I should have probably gotten that confiscated when we were on the plane. I think my mom was
just because of like
I don't think you're
flora
allowed
and
to
fauna.
bring
Yeah.
dirt from a
My only
different
similar story, and I don't even know if Maggie knows this. We have a 25-pound kettlebell in our little home gym. It's from an ex-girlfriend of mine. Well after we had broken up.
What?
We'd been broken up for years.
Okay.
I show up to O'Hare for a story. I don't remember if I was with Fox or one of our competitors where I used to work. Show up to the airport for a story. I'm with a cameraman. My ex-girlfriend is in Terminal 1, the United Terminal. She's there. And she couldn't get through security. I'm like, oh, hey, how are you? Good to see you. You know, we're friendly enough. And she had this 25-pound kettlebell that she was going to bring to her dad for Father's Day. They wouldn't let her on the plane with the kettlebell, and those are not cheap. Those kettlebells are not cheap.
Oh,
and she's
no.
like, do you want this kettlebell? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. And you know what? All these years later, I still use that thing
Well,
for
how do you feel
warm-ups,
about
for shoulder warm-ups and
Having
stuff.
things from exes.
Well, now that I wonder if Maggie's going to see this.
Would Maggie care?
I don't think so. I think she'd be okay with it.
Does she have anything from her exes? Would you care?
No,
Okay.
no. I think we're.
You've got enough
we're-
history together
yeah,
that you're good.
Yeah, I think
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure she'd be. And she uses the kettlebell, so.
Yeah.
I will follow up. I will follow up.
That's another segment for another time.
Caitlin, where did you go to college?
Central Michigan University.
Okay, I'm looking at the list here of the top 10 party schools in the U.S.
She's
that
not
were
there,
just
but she
named.
should be.
Western Michigan did not make the list, and
Central
neither did
Michigan,
my
Western, Central. That's like our competitor. What?
Sorry, Caitlin. Central Michigan.
God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, come
Sorry
on.
about that. Indiana, my alma mater, did not make the list either, and I'm kind of shocked by that because it was a wild party
Where
school.
did you go?
Indiana, Bloomington.
did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Hoosiers.
What?
Hoosiers. Okay, here we go. Top 10. You want to take us through these, Caitlin?
Sure,
I've been
yeah.
talking too much.
Okay, yeah. Number 1, University of California, Santa Barbara. Number 1 party school,
Never been.
University of California. I bet that would be a fun place to be
Oh, yeah.
a college student. Number 2, Florida State University. Not too surprised about this,
No.
right? Number 3, Tulane University.
New Orleans. I believe that's in New Orleans, right?
I don't know. I don't know too much about that. I don't know anything about that. Number 4, University of Southern California.
Oh, yeah.
Another Calais School.
Oh, yeah.
Number 5, University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Yes.
That's really
such
funny.
a fun town. I visited there a couple times. It's deserves to be on the list.
You think?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Number 6,
Great place.
University of Alabama. I probably should have started at 10 and gone down to 1.
Good call. That's okay.
Sorry. Number 7, Syracuse. That's surprising.
Probably got like 8 feet of snow.
Exactly right.
But maybe
That
they
was my
drink
first
it off.
thought.
You know?
Yeah. How are we judging this? Wait a second. The quality
This is
of the party
this is from
scene.
niche.
Quality of party scene. Quality.
Quality.
Number 9 is Howard. Nope, I skipped number 8, University of Georgia.
Okay.
Number 9 is Howard, and number 10 is University
Howard
of Illinois.
University. Wait, did Brian Jackson go there?
Yes, he did.
Okay, we're gonna have to get some confirmation from him.
Can I say something?
And then, hey, look at the number 10, Caitlin.
Yeah, University of Illinois.
Urbana.
I
That's Natalie Baumke, and she lived to tell the tale.
So parties, this is my advice to all parents and young folks. Join fraternities and sororities. I know they get a bad reputation, but when I tell you, as party school, Central Michigan was, it is way safer to have a group of people that know you, that are going to these things with you. They're organized events a lot of times, and there's still parties. I wasn't a huge partier when I was in college, but I did join a sorority because I joined as a sophomore. As a freshman, you're just wandering the streets looking for something fun to do. Like, that is so dangerous. So
yeah.
I know, like, people think that sorority and fraternity life is like,
Oh yeah,
the
like
hazing,
real
or whatever.
superficial
They're usually
hazing,
really good
drinking,
about, they don't really
toxic culture.
do
Yeah.
that much. They're really
Well, it
strict
probably
about
depends
it.
on the house. At Indiana, we had a wide variety. You had your more academic fraternities and sororities. You had your more athletic fraternities and sororities. And then you had like the partiers,
Yeah.
like the real
sticky
party
floor.
house. Yeah, where you go in, it smells like stale beer.
Yeah.
And
The
there's
floor is,
like
like,
the
black.
floor. Yeah, exactly. You had those
Yeah.
places where you're like.
How could
So
you live in
I was in a house in college, and
You
I'll never
were?
forget. Yes.
Oh, wait, you were in
And
a fraternity?
Yes, and my mom dropped me off because we moved straight into the house. You, like as a freshman, you rushed as a senior in high school, and you moved straight into the
Holy
house.
smokes.
Anne Ponce burst into tears when she saw the house because of the smell
Yeah.
and just everything.
How did it
And I
feel?
will say, it looked horrible when you moved in
College
because
boys are
everyone.
disgusting.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. Normally, the other like weeks of the year, the house doesn't look as bad as it does that first week. But everyone's moving and like tearing. People are building. They're called docks. They're beds really, but people reconfigure their rooms. So there's all kinds of debris in the hallways. So the whole place looked like a bomb went off in
Yeah.
there. Awful. Things hadn't been cleaned all summer. I get why she burst into
Gross.
tears.
My
Yeah.
sorority house was actually beautiful, and we had a
The
bunch of
sororities
girls
in
that
Indiana,
lived
they look
there.
like country clubs.
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the fraternities were real bad.
That's
and then
where it's at.
yeah.
And they're not too crazy. That's the other thing. They cost money, but they're not insanely expensive considering, you know, a lot of them, they provide the food and
Yeah. And you guys don't host parties there, right?
ever.
So that was the
Never.
same deal at Indiana, where the sorority houses.
You weren't even really allowed in
Boys weren't even allowed.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember getting caught upstairs in a sorority one
Fancy.
time. Yeah.
All right.
And the house mom.
Oh, they had house moms.
My girlfriend at the time got in big trouble. I remember driving away from Bloomington, and the house mom was on the front lawn scolding my then girlfriend for allowing a boy upstairs.
Yeah.
It was in the middle of the day. We were not even doing anything. We were
Yeah.
like, I think I was helping her
God,
move something.
college days.
Oh man. Anyway, we have all been
know how
there.
we got- oh, yeah, college.
Okay, we're switching gears. We got to go to a break real quick, but. One of the toughest conversations here in the workplace is asking for that raise. Inflation's tough, the economy's tough, we've had to ask for raises in the past. We are gonna get some expert advice on how to navigate this very difficult and can be awkward conversation. When you know you deserve that raise, how do you approach the boss? We are gonna get the expert advice when we come back after this short break.
10:22. By the way, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can comment. We've
Or
got it pulled
Facebook.
up. Or Facebook, and we could read your comments, and maybe at the end of the show we'll talk about a few.
Michael Garcia, I did see that footage of that wall cloud. It was that dust storm. Did you see that? The haboob?
Did. Yes, the haboob.
Did I? So I got
Yes,
the.
you did. I love that, yeah.
Haboob. Where does that word come from?
I don't know the origin of the word haboob. We could look that up.
Open another browser window and Google image haboob. They are wild looking. Like it looks like something out of, what was that movie, The Day After Tomorrow?
Yeah. Or that one with nope. Mad Max.
Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Okay.
Okay,
Back on
we have a very
topic.
special guest.
We do. So in today's workplace, one of the toughest conversations for professionals to navigate is asking for a raise, but you got to do it. With uncertain economy and companies constantly adjusting, many employees hesitate, worried about timing or rocking the boat. But according to career and leadership expert Dr. Shweta Miglani, author of Navigate Your Career, Strategies for Success in New Roles and Promotions, now may actually be the right time, the right moment to speak up. So good morning to you. Thanks for joining us, Doctor.
Good morning. It's an amazing day today.
Yes, are you here in
is.
Chicago?
I'm actually in San Jose, California.
Oh, okay.
Cali, another
Well, it's
Cali.
equally beautiful out here. We have perfect weather in Chicago. So it's sunny out, everyone's in a good mood. Maybe this is the time to ask for a raise, Caitlin.
Yeah, let's dig in. So feeling nervous about asking for a raise, that makes sense. And especially in this climate, what would you say? Why does uncertainty actually make for a good time to ask for a raise?
Yeah, that's a great question. I know a lot of people I coach and I work with, they always ask me this question. So asking a raise in today's economy isn't just about compensation. It's about demonstrating value. And the most effective approach is to shift the conversation from personal need to business impact. Start by aligning your request with the organization's strategic goals. What's the problem you have solved? What outcomes have you driven? Come prepared with metrics. It's not that hard. Look at market benchmarks and create a clear case for how your role has evolved. And timing matters. A raise should feel like a natural extension of a performance conversation and not a surprise. As a leader, I have been in positions where somebody would just walk into my door and actually say, I need a raise. And it catches you off guard as a leader. And that conversation never goes anywhere. So I always tell employees that if you're getting ready for that conversation, help your leader to be ready too for that conversation. I encourage them to talk about things and updates about their work to their managers on a regular basis in a one-on-one conversation. It should lead up to that. It should not be a sudden thing that they ask for. And finally, be open to creative alternatives. If budgets are tight, consider negotiating for expanded scope, visibility, or leadership development opportunities. In uncertain times, which we are in right now, it's not just asking for more. It's about showing why you're worth investing in.
How do you break the ice? Okay, your point is taken that it's about demonstrating value once you're face to face with your boss and with that decision maker. But how do you tactfully get in front of the boss? It can't just be like, knock, knock, hey, look at all the value I'm adding. How do we break the ice?
That's right. And I think that's why it's very important that it's not a sudden conversation. I always encourage people, have regular one-on-ones with your boss, because if your boss doesn't see your progress, then they really don't think you're worth it at that point. So it should be an equity that you're building on a regular basis and not just something that comes out of the blue. So have regular conversations, show your work, and collaborate with your team members also. Many a times I've seen a raise is not just about making that change in the compensation numbers, but your boss might ask people who you work with. So it could be a peer that they could talk to and say, how is Shweta doing? Or they could talk to somebody else who's a senior and say, have you seen her work? Is she worth investing in, right? So it is a system that you're working with. So work with your boss on a regular basis. Make sure you're ready to have that conversation with the numbers. Data always helps, but just make sure it's not out of the blue. And timing matters. A lot of companies do performance management. They have cycles. So I always recommend people have that conversation in at least 6 to 7 weeks in advance, so that when your boss decides, yes, Shweta, you should be getting a raise, they should be able to add that into their system in a timely manner too.
So speaking of dicey waters and awkward conversations, let's say you have asked for a raise in the past, you go back to ask for another raise in the future. In between that time, you're looking around. Maybe you have another job offer. Do you bring that to the table with you, or do you wait?
She's asking for a friend, by the way.
I would not recommending using that as a way of threatening, because everybody wants to see you grow in your organization. I think always start with that positive attitude. They want you to grow, they want to invest in you. If you go out and have another offer, that's fine, but don't use that as a way of negotiating. I know many people might have in the past and it might have worked, but be careful because it could go in any direction. So I would say have that conversation first. See, read the room, feel how your boss is reacting, and use that only as your last resort. Do not bring it up front, because I think a lot of people start thinking about lack of loyalty and, oh, I invested so much in this person and now they're going out and looking for jobs. So it just becomes a very emotional and draining situation. So to avoid that, make sure you don't use that upfront.
That's
Last resort.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I could see that going either way. You
Oh,
better
yeah.
be sure they want to keep you.
Well, because as an employer, you can imagine, like, I'm not going to invest in this person anymore if they're just going to leave.
If they've got one foot out the door, if they're
Right,
thinking
no
about
way.
it. Going back to the conversation itself, in terms of navigating how to transition between demonstrating your value and then making that request. You said most of this should be demonstrating your value when you are face to face with your boss. But how do you transition the conversation or position things so the ball is then in management's court to say, you know what? I think Anthony needs a raise here. I think Caitlin needs a raise here. What is the key to making that turn in a tactful way?
The way I've seen it works best is when you leave the decision in the hands of the leadership and their company. And by that I mean is, let's say you're having a conversation and you say, and let's say Shweta is doing a great job and Anthony agrees, he's my boss, he nods his head, and I talk about, here are the things that I've done, and I know you've seen this in the past. I just wanted to share that since last year, I have made a lot of changes. I took your feedback, hopefully, they've had those ongoing conversations. So you show your improvement, you show the things that you've worked in, and showcase the work that you've done beyond just what was assigned to you. And you talk about, I collaborated with this team member and that team member. Once that conversation ends, towards the end you say, and I know the company will take care of me, and I know you'll do the right thing. I think leaving the conversation and the ball in their court really helps, because then it's the leader's action to say, okay, what can I do for Shweta since she's done so much? When you ask directly, can I get a raise? Again, it becomes a situation where everybody feels uncomfortable, and rather you should say, how else can I help showcase my work? How else can I add more value? Always be willing to do more, but leave the ball in the court of your leader.
And you think just saying, hey, I know the company is going to reciprocate or take care of me, you think that's enough to plant that seed? The boss is going to say, okay, I get what they're driving at here.
I think so, yes. And I've seen that in the other conversations, because you're planting the seed. Never have I ever heard about a conversation or done research on that says they had one conversation and they walked out with a raise. It usually doesn't happen. I know we love watching TV shows where you see that happening in one conversation or the other, but in reality it doesn't happen. You are building equity and investment even in that conversation with your leader. So it will take a few conversations, but be consistent, be assertive, but always read the room. Do not have that conversation if you feel your boss has just come out from a really terrible, meeting or is in a tough position.
Right.
Make sure you're also balancing that.
Because you have to remember, your boss has a boss, so everything has to get approved. I have a two-part question. First one is, Is it okay to bring up, if you know how much your coworkers are making, for example, and you want to say, I'm doing more than this person's doing and they're making this, I should be making this. Can you do that? Is it a bad idea to do that? And then number two, speaking of how much other people make, is it okay to look it up online? And can you give us a few resources maybe to see what the market value is for different positions so you can bring that data to your boss?
Absolutely. So let's start with the second question.
Okay.
There are excellent organizations out there online like Glassdoor, Indeed, and even LinkedIn Learning for that matter. Not Learning, sorry, LinkedIn has also provided a lot of those ranges and opportunities for you to see what your role should be worth. I would not answer that first question in a way that it creates confusion, because you don't want to tell your boss you know how much your peers make. I think that's a big no-no move from my end. I would say this is where you would really hurt your relationship with your boss. You will really hurt confidentiality, especially if you are a leader, a people leader yourself. You should not be bringing that up. It's not a fair discussion. And then your boss would be eager to know, how did you know? How is that happening? And it'll just create more confusion, and the rumor mill will start out. And you don't want to be part of creating that confusion in that culture. You want to say, this is my worth, and this is where my role is in the industry. So those resources that we just discussed is where you can create your benchmarking data, not your peers. I would not recommend that.
Okay.
Very good advice. Thank you so much for joining us here on Chicago Now, all the way from San Jose, California. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Bye. That was interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Good
You have to finesse it. It's delicate territory.
But you got to do it. You got to do it. And you know, I hear women don't ask for raises as much as men do.
Well, it's so easy to just like avoid a difficult conversation, just like make do. But you're right. It's an important conversation to have. It's just you got to be tactful about it, not burn bridges.
But it has to make sense too. You know, like if you feel in your core that you deserve a raise, go for it.
Go for it. You know your worth. Know your value. Okay, we alluded to this this next topic that we're going to talk about when we come back yesterday.
Yeah.
Remember I was saying how teenagers,
yes you were.
They need to sleep in? Okay, too early. As kids head back to school, many parents know the morning struggle. Okay, waking up a tired teenager. Do schools start their school day too early? Should they be pushing it back? We're going to hear from a doctor right after this short break, so stick around.
10:37. So we are joined by Dr. Lindsay McCullough. She is here to talk about school time start time for school. As kids head back to school, many parents know the morning struggle, waking up a tired teenager, as Anthony was just mentioning. But beyond the grogginess, doctors say that early times can actually have serious health effects on kids, their learning, their overall well-being. In fact, there was even a bill proposed in the Illinois House to push school start times to 8:30 or later, though it was never voted on. So, Lindsay, you are a director for the Sleep Medicine Fellowship, and you're going to break this down. Why should we be starting school later for these teenagers? Thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you, Caitlin and Anthony, for having me to talk about this topic. It's near and dear to my heart. I see a lot of college-age students who have been sleepy for a long time and remember back to high school. And also, I remember growing up myself. My high school started at 7 a.m. But teen sleep deprivation is a public health crisis right now.
7 a.m. is when your school started?
Yes.
That
Mine
is
did
wild.
too, 7:15.
Really?
Yeah.
When did
Maybe
yours
I blocked it out. Maybe mine started that early too. But
It's
what
hard
is?
to remember, right?
Yeah. Well, if
I
you
don't
don't
feel
sleep,
like-
Yeah,
your
you might have
long-term
been
memory.
sleepy.
Okay, so run us through kind of the science here. I do remember reading that teenagers in particular, it affects them in particular more than other age groups, but kind of run us through the science here, why it's such a bad idea to start too early.
So if we take a step back and think about just the sleep needs of children, kids age 6 through 12 need somewhere between 9 to 12 hours of sleep in a 24-hour period for optimal health, and teenagers need between 8 to 10 hours of sleep. And so when we think about school start times, the school start times are often earlier. In Illinois, the average school start time is 8:08 a.m.
Okay.
But teenagers are hardwired to be night owls. It's within their biology.
No way. Whoa.
Wild.
They
Yes.
don't want to go to bed. So what time are teenagers typically going to bed?
So typically their body and their circadian rhythms, they don't really allow them to go to sleep much earlier than 11
Oh
p.m.
my gosh. Oh, and if school starts at 7, you're getting up probably 5:45, 6 to eat breakfast, maybe take a shower.
And then they're going
hope.
until 7 o'clock at night with sports. You know?
So
They're just
basically, yeah, they're under that 8-hour threshold that you mentioned.
Exactly. And actually, the CDC's been pooling surveys. The most recent one showed that 9th through 12th graders in Illinois, they report, almost 85% of them report that they're not getting enough sleep. They're
Yeah.
not getting 8 hours of sleep on school nights.
For parents out there that are watching, is there anything we can do to either encourage our kids to go to bed earlier, go to sleep earlier, or even just to support them through these 4 years of sleep deprivation?
It's a great
Food,
question.
nutrition, I don't know, water?
Right. So the 3 key pillars of health for anyone really is good sleep, good diet, and exercise. So focusing on those 3 things is really important. In terms of focusing on the sleep, if we're trying to get 8 hours of sleep at night, I think modeling for the whole family, having a wind down routine, making sure the lights are dim, put away the electronics at night, have some relaxing activity together, and make sure the bedroom is a cool, quiet, safe place to be. And having the routines, really the timing of sleep is important, so keeping that regular, the sleep times and wake up times, trying to keep that consistent on the weekends. And if you're wondering, okay, well, what time should my teenager go to bed or my child go to bed, there's an awesome sleep calculator at sleepeducation.org from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. So if you go to that website, it can help you figure out the times that you want to target for bedtime, according to the wake up time, and then how to navigate adjusting those times.
Okay.
Let's jump to this initiative in Illinois.
Yes.
I guess it just crashed and burned, but the Illinois House, there was a proposal to require 8:30 a.m. start time or later. To your knowledge, do you know what happened there, why it didn't gain any traction?
I think, things get busy, there's a lot going on. I'm not sure how, the complexity of the issue. I think what we can do now is reach out to your state legislator and say, hey, this is something that's important to me and my child. Let's revive this bill. it was 29.51, I believe, and so that we can get some traction going and help to propel the momentum forward to delay the school start times in Illinois.
I kind of wonder why people
What would be the
insist
issue?
on exactly like is it sports maybe,
Probably.
and they don't want to keep them there till 7 or 8 at night.
Or the teachers, maybe they don't want to stay late. I can see that. I don't know.
Adults don't need as much sleep.
That
as
was going to
kids.
be my question.
Sorry, Kate.
No.
Great minds.
Not even just
Great
adults,
minds.
Anthony, not just adults, but is it true that every individual requires different amounts of sleep? Like, I swear, if I get under 9 hours, I am toast.
Wow.
But some people,
How do you get that?
how many hours do you get?
6?
And you're fine.
Not fine.
You're tired.
Not fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, is it true that like other different people require different amounts of sleep?
So there's individual variations. Typically adults need somewhere between 7 to 9 hours, and 7's not better than 9, vice versa. So allowing enough time for you to get the amount of sleep that you need to feel your best self is important. And then if you're allowing yourself that amount of sleep and you're still feeling tired or you're having sleep issues, then talk to your doctor
Something's
about
going
it.
on. Okay, let's talk about the actual impact of this problem. Okay, for teens, what are the effects of this sleep deprivation? Retaining information, performance, like what's going on with these teens who are not sleeping enough?
Well, I'd love to tell you, actually, there's other districts within the country, thousands of school districts have delayed start times.
Oh, nice.
And they've shown improved graduation rates, better attendance, better GPAs. They've shown less car crashes, less risky behavior, less crime. They've shown just happier and healthier kids all around.
So there seems like
Oh
there's
my
no
God.
negative there to having a later.
Yeah, literally no downside except for maybe scheduling with the older people. What is happening to my other question though? What does happen to these teenagers when they are sleep deprived and trying to function through a school day and extracurriculars?
So when you're truncating sleep, you're really affecting their mental health. There's increased risk of depression, their physical health, increased risks of obesity, diabetes. And they aren't making it to school a lot of the times. They don't do as well in school. They get into other things. So it's a complex issue, but we see, it makes sense if your brain is still asleep when you're trying to get up. If you're driving to school and your brain's asleep,
Half there, half not.
right, and you're not going to be able to focus in your classes, and if you do get there.
Have you found over time? It's my turn, Anthony.
Sorry, Caitlin. Go ahead.
Just kidding. No, but have you found over time that, like, with technology and cell phones, has it gotten worse with kids? Like, because they are addicted to these. Should we get them off of Facebook and Instagram at a certain time at night? Is that an issue?
The American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommends putting away the electronics, the phones, within an hour and a half to 2 hours before bedtime. And I will tell you, this is a problem in kids and adults. So I won't single out
Oh
the
my gosh.
teenagers.
I'm the worst. I'm
Get
the
off
worst.
the scrolling.
Yeah, I'm not exactly modeling good
nonstop.
behavior.
Yeah.
What are the signs, if you're a parent or maybe even a teenager who sees this, but what are the signs that, like, hey, you are not getting enough sleep? Is it that post-lunch crash, or
Just
what should they look
cranky.
out for?
Right. Oh, you bring up a good point. They did a survey, and parents noticed increased irritability and mood changes, and just in general, the teens aren't as fun to be around. But you'll also notice that they're more tired. They might be having trouble in school. There's evidence too that there's more injuries in sports, more concussions with less sleep.
So many implications here.
What about on the weekend? Like, is it okay to let them sleep in on the weekends? Can they catch up on sleep maybe? Or is that a no-no? Does that not work that way? Can you not catch up from the hours?
Sleep, bank it.
Like bank it up on the weekends.
That's a really good question. If you're catching up on sleep on weekends, that means that your sleep is really truncated during the week and you're not getting enough. So, and 2 days is typically not enough to fully replenish your sleep. So ideally you'd get more sleep in the night, but if somebody needs a little bit of extra sleep during the day, on the weekend, it can maybe be helpful in the short term. It may make it harder for them to fall asleep as well on Sunday
I heard
nights.
lifespan
Ooh,
actually
okay.
shrinks too with the
Yeah,
less sleep
I
that
could
you
see
get.
that.
I think we're not going to make it that
Yeah.
way,
I hope,
Anthony.
thank you so much. I really hope lawmakers get the memo on this, because those benefits that you outlined are like, there's no limit to them. Lindsay, thank you so much. Dr. McCullough, everybody from Rush University, thank you so much for being here. We need to take a quick break, but when we come back, David Parks and Emma Parks, a couple of filmmakers, are going to be in studio. They're local, and this is about to be a national release. It's a film called The Short Game. We're going to be speaking with them when we come back.
Jeremy Avery, tell us about your prep for the upcoming match.
Just do what I always do.
Come on, Jared, give me more meat, yeah?
So we're practicing before, and then we get...
Oh, hey, Dr. K.
It's Principal Keller, Carly.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, Jeremy. Good luck today with Hamilton.
Thank you, sir. Could use some luck.
Golf sensation, Jeremy Avery, wins the state championship his freshman year, only to come back his sophomore and junior year with lackluster performances.
Is this supposed to be motivational?
Let me finish. Now, in his senior year, Jeremy Avery has the chance to regain his former glory by carrying his team to the state championship and qualifying as an individual. Better?
Better. Yeah, I like that. I like glory.
You would like glory.
You said former
You
glory.
definitely would like it. Well, I mean,
Why'd you say former
maybe you
glory?
should.
I don't want to stop watching.
Yeah.
That was so awesome. Wow. Father-daughter duo here. We've got David Parks and Emma Parks. They're Chicago's own. David Parks is stepping onto the national stage with his latest film. You just saw a little preview there. It's called The Short Game. It's hitting theaters nationwide on August 29th, which is so fun. Congrats. So the film tells the story of a teenage golf prodigy whose autistic younger brother helps him rediscover confidence, family, and what truly matters in life. So David Parks is the local filmmaker. He's joined with his daughter, of course, to talk about how you guys made this movie, the behind the scenes and the ins and outs of doing this together. So thanks for coming in.
Sure, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
How
Super
did this all
excited.
come about? Did you write the script? What inspired this whole project?
So this started with a very good friend of mine who I've known for many years, wrote a script and sent it to me and said, I'd like to make this as an independent feature film. And like I often do when friends send me scripts, I didn't read it for a really long time. 'Cause I was afraid it wouldn't be good, and you know, you have to...
Oh, that awkward, hey, it's not so good, buddy.
But I finally sat down and read it, and I thought it was terrific. It was the main concept of this golfer who's trying to achieve a goal, winning his state championship and a college scholarship, his path is impeded by having to take care of his younger brother, who's autistic. And so we worked on the script, kind of rewriting. It was kind of long and kind of big for an independent feature film. So he and I, and then we brought in actually my wife, who is a screenwriter, to help with it. We rewrote the script and got it to where we could make it.
So this is a family affair making this movie. That is so fun. But how did you guys figure out the spot for you? The daughter is the main female character. How has that been? How did you guys, work that out?
Go ahead, tell her what actually happened.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah, so Carly is the part I play, and she is the high school golfer's best friend, and so she was kind of always a big part of the script and a fundamental part of the story, and she's throughout the movie filming a documentary about him. And it's actually funny, I was signed on for a different part in the project, a smaller part, just dipping my foot in the water, and I've been training at NYU for 4 years, and I've been training my whole life basically in acting. And in a little surprise turn of events, the actress who was set to play the lead part ended up not being able to do it. And the director had gone through all the tapes, and I had submitted just to be seen by the casting team. And he came to me and said, I believe in you and I trust you, and I think this part was meant for you, and I want you to step in. And so I decided to go ahead and do it, and it was really amazing to get to do it with my dad. So
your character is BFFs with the golfer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And she's also this filmmaker. So that's what we were seeing.
That is what you were seeing
in that
the clip.
Interesting.
Yes.
It's a movie within a movie.
Exactly. It's very meta.
Very meta. Now, in terms of takeaway, there's so many stories we've been doing here on the news just about ADHD, ADD, kids who live with autism. What are going to be some of the takeaways here from this particular film?
Sure. So one thing that we did maybe a little bit differently than other movies you've seen that touch on autism and the neurodiverse is the story is really told through Jeremy, the older brother, and taps into how an autistic child affects the family dynamics in the family. We see a lot of excellent films where the central character is the autistic person. In this case, we kind of look at it from a broader perspective. And it's something that we've actually had a lot of great positive response, because people say people don't understand how it affects the family dynamic. But it's really at its core, it's the gifts that the neurodiverse can bring to our lives, even with challenges. We cast a truly autistic young man. Owen Himfar plays Ethan. We felt we had to do that for authenticity, and you can't make a film about the gifts of the neurodiverse and not walk the walk.
Sure.
That makes a lot of sense. And I know there's been a lot of criticism for certain studios for miscasting certain roles with certain actresses and actors.
Yeah. Emma, I've got a question for you. So you said you went to school for acting.
Yes.
Or you're in school, you went to school.
Recently graduated.
NYU.
So how has it been different working for your dad versus other roles that you've played? Because I could imagine you want to make him proud, and maybe adds an extra layer of nervousness. What was that like?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when we stepped on set, it really did feel like any other film set. It was very just, two creatives coming together to make a project, and I think we were pretty professional. But then, we would get home and he would be like, I was really proud of you today. That was great. It's, it's truly a gift, and I will be able to cherish that for the rest of my life. So I'm really, really grateful to have gotten that opportunity.
That's really great. So talk about the release then. This is an independent film. What does it take to bring this thing wide to as many audiences as possible?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate. I mean, it was truly an independent film, independently financed, no promises of distribution at all. We just sort of took one step at a time. The festival circuit definitely helped us. We played in festivals all over the world. We won 6 Best Picture awards among those.
Wow.
And we got picked up for distribution. The way we're doing it is we're very much involved with how it's happening. But our distributors sent it out to the theater chains, and immediately AMC, Regal, Marcus, and lots of independent films, independent theaters said, yeah, we want this film. So yeah, I can't believe the date is almost here. And we're starting with a slightly limited release. We'll be in about 150 theaters across maybe 40 markets the first week, and then we'll expand. So, you know, hopefully we do
What about
well.
here in Chicago? The Century Landmark, I know, will sometimes show the independent films, but is there a place we can check it out around Chicago?
Yeah, we're actually in a lot of theaters around town, mainly AMC theaters. So we're in the city, we're in all the suburbs, we're out in Schaumburg and, you know, further out areas up in the North Shore where we live. We'll be at the Landmark, AMC Landmark, at the CMX at Old Orchard, at the Skokie, where I love seeing the theaters, the great theaters out there. I think we're in River North.
Nice.
It's all on our website. You can go to the short game.
Yeah, let everyone know where the website.
Shortgamemovie.com, and you just put in your zip code and it'll show you where we're playing. It'll go directly to the theater chain site.
Is it theshortgamemovie.com or short
No,
game?
it's just shortgamemovie.com.
And I know you had a poster you wanted to share with everybody.
Yeah, so I brought you all a gift. I brought you all the movie poster.
Oh,
Note
nice.
the 6 winning Best Picture awards at the top.
Yes.
That's really,
Yeah, you do what you have to do, right?
Great.
Beautiful. Well, congrats,
So,
you guys. This
thank
is
you very
huge.
much.
This is wait, before we let you go, where are you guys going to be watching the premiere?
Oh.
Because you're both from out of town. You just flew in, like.
Yeah, we're going to be here.
Okay, great, great.
You know, we have a lot of friends and family and co-workers and all who want to see it, so I thought we'll be here. And different, you know, our director is in Dallas. He's going to be there. Our executive producer is in Colorado. He's going to be there. So we're kind of spreading the wealth.
The team.
Get like a FaceTime going, a party after the show.
How long was the shoot, out of curiosity, too? Sorry, we're out of time, but how?
We're running into the next show.
Yeah, we are. How long was this shoot?
We shot 21 days in north of Dallas in a
quick.
small town called Sherman in an epic summer of heat. It was triple digits.
It was
every
insane.
day we shot.
Yeah.
And we were outside on a golf course for, you know, half of that.
Oh my, 21 days and you guys did this whole film. That's amazing.
Right. One day of pickups during editing and a lot of, we have to go out to the golf course and our editor would say, I need a golf ball going right to left, landing on the green 5 feet from the hole.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But mainly, 3 weeks.
My husband would love that job. Let's go to the golf course.
That
every day.
is a quick shoot in some big time heat. Congratulations to both of you, Emma and David Parks, everybody, and check it out. The movie is called The Short Game, and it is just days away from a nationwide release. That is going to do it for us here during our 10 o'clock hour. More Chicago Now right after this break.
Welcome to the 11 o'clock hour of Chicago Now. I'm Gabriela Primus.
And I'm Natalie Bobke, filling in for Tia Ewing today.
She's getting a much needed break. I'm happy to see you.
Thank you.
We have a lot to catch up on. I feel like I haven't really seen you even in the studio. Like, we usually cross paths all the time.
I know.
We've been out and about, busy.
So busy, I know.
Busy ladies.
And I was working on Sunday, which was helpful because the mayor gave a statement on President Trump potentially bringing the National Guard to Chicago. So we got to catch up with him on Sunday.
You gave me all that good sound that I used throughout the week.
Well, I mean, it was very interesting and still more to come on that. So I took yesterday off because I worked a late night on Sunday.
Well, good for you. And I do have to mention, I saw that you stocked up on Halloween decorations, Natalie Bobke, and what day is it?
Well, I don't know. What day is it, Gabby?
It's August 20-something?
You know what? I don't know what it, like, I don't know if you're like this, but some years I don't want to go all out with decorations.
Sure.
Like, I just don't have the energy. I don't want to do it. And for some reason this year, I just got this little bug and, you know, like the cool chill in the air the last couple days.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And so I go to TJ Maxx to go take something back, and I end up with a cart full of Halloween decorations.
As it usually goes.
Yes.
Well,
and
you know what?
they had just put out the stuff too. So if you're a TJ Maxx, a Maxxinista, you got to hit it soon because they just put all the stuff out.
You know, that is funny because I went to Michael's just the other day and I saw all the Halloween and Christmas stuff out, and I'm like, oh, these bows are so cute, but I'm just not in that place yet where I can
Well, you've got a
purchase
wedding
anything.
on your
Yeah,
mind.
also I
You're
just
getting
can't
married in like 2
purchase
weeks.
anything else ever again. But I'm like, oh, it'd be perfect time right now to get it because watch, 2 weeks from now it's all going to be sold out. It's going to be trending on TikTok or something like that.
And that's the thing, you know, at stores like that where you can get a good deal, it is gone if you don't pick it up.
No
So
kidding.
I could be a spokesperson.
Do you feel like you got some good items that you can take throughout the years at least?
Yes, that's my goal because I like to do the outside decoration, and so I'm just going to store it for next year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
It's
good
well
use of a
worth
day
the
off.
money, Gabby.
It is. Just give me some money right now because it's all Monopoly
know.
money and it's all gone. Anyways, we have a kind of a theme show today. It's all talking about a healthier life, a healthier lifestyle. So we're going to bring in some doctors. One is going to be an integrative medicine, talking about restoring energy, clarity, and balance, how you could do that more naturally. Also talking about your standard medicine as well. And then also talking about how hidden triggers could be at the root of some chronic illnesses. So what you could do about that. And also simple lifestyle hacks from a wellness influencer is going to join us as well, and give us some tips and tricks that we can take throughout day to day.
I love this topic.
Me too.
Like, this is so great. I see like Jennifer Aniston and Jennifer Lopez, and I'm like, how do they do it?
No kidding.
What are they on? So I'm going to ask the doctors. I'm sure they have no idea. But
I have a feeling that we're going to go home today with a couple of things that we had no idea that was in our
Right.
house that might be kind of triggering us or being, that we're sensitive to, because I hear that all the time on social media. Plus, just weeding through all the advice that we're getting online. I bet that this lifestyle influencer at the end of the show is going to help us with that. But first, we have some trending topics to go through.
That's right, Gabby. Oh my goodness. Speaking of like beauty trends,
I know.
So Louis Vuitton is coming out with a makeup line. The price is disgusting, I guess, according to me, who
But
will
look
spend
how
$100 at
beautiful
TJ
it
Maxx.
looks.
It is beautiful.
Just kidding.
But how quickly do you go through like lip gloss and lipstick?
You know,
I mean,
lip
if you use
gloss-
it all the time.
Yeah, lip gloss pretty quickly. I would say lipstick not as quick, but maybe it's because I'm not reapplying as often as I should.
Because I'm thinking like the lip gloss, maybe a month, I guess, if you are a frequent user. This stuff is over $100 for just one tube of lip gloss.
160, and this is by Louis Vuitton. It just was released the other day, and I think we can get it now on Friday. But it's a collection called La Bouteille. I don't speak French, okay, people? So
Bouteille. We'll go with it.
That does sound like a.
It might be
I looked
Beauté.
it up. I looked it up, and it says Bouteille.
Well,
La
maybe
Bouteille.
that's part of the draw.
Maybe it is.
Is the name.
Maybe there's some kind of secret in here that we don't know about. But it was made with
I don't
Pat
know if-
McGrath,
yeah.
who's a super big makeup artist who I love to follow. So I guess it has to be good, even though it's $160.
I don't know though. Is it? Have you tried? I've tried the Chanel nail polish. No better than other brands.
Really?
It could be Wet and Wild as far as I'm concerned.
Really?
I mean, I don't see the difference.
You know, they've said before that some of the generic brands like Ulta brand and Sephora brand are actually made by really high-end high-end companies that are producing these for the stores.
I believe
I
it.
think I remember. I don't quote me on this, but like Sephora was made by Estee Lauder or something like that. So honestly, the product is just as good as the high-quality brand when it's half the price.
And the drugstore brands are so good these days.
They kind of
They
are.
really are. I mean, the color matching is like spot on. So it's
I
a
could
pretty
talk
good
this
deal.
all day, but I want to go through some of the other prices because a lipstick, like we said, is $160. The lip balm alone is $160 as well. Eyeshadows $250, and then there are refill options which are $169, and then the other is $92.
I was looking at the makeup cases. There's like a brush set that's over $1,000.
What?
For a teeny tiny brush case and the brushes themselves. And then you can get a makeup carrying case, and that's over $1,000. That's crazy, but I guess it is Louis Vuitton, so you're paying for the name.
Okay, well, if you're interested at home, it says here they officially go on sale on their website in some Louis Vuitton stores on Friday.
So if you want to wear La Booty on your mouth, then make sure you check out the website and tell your
All
friends.
right, look, I looked at the pronunciation. That's literally what it said, Nat. So I'm hoping I'm correct. If not, I'm sorry, Louis Vuitton. I'm sorry to your viewers at home for any uncomfortableness that I have caused in your living room. Cracker Barrel. You've heard about this, right?
Yeah.
The new logo. People are upset.
Well, allegedly, I was talking to one of our directors about this. He was like, everybody says people are upset, but who are the people that are upset? Because everybody's saying that people are outraged, but I don't know that I've seen a person that's outraged. So this is the new logo. It used to be the old man and the barrel. Yeah. It was like kind of there it is, a little corner store kind of motif. And now it's just been simplified. And this comes after they renovated their dining rooms. And I think they went with like more of a neutral palette instead of the browns and the tan tones and kind of decluttered things. And I don't know, why change a good thing?
That's true, but you're so right, Natalie. Who actually is outraged about this? Because we have been saying in a lot of scripts that, hey, people are really angry. Yeah, I don't know one person that could be angry. I also haven't ran into it online, angry people.
No. I think if you're upset about that, you need to reevaluate.
Have you stepped foot in a Cracker Barrel before?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I have not.
Really? Ever?
No, I've never
So when
once.
we love Cracker Barrel.
Okay.
If there was one closer to my house in the suburbs, I would go once a month. I mean, it's like, but I'm a chain food person. Like I like the Applebee's, I like the Chili's. But I remember growing up, whenever we take like a road trip down to Florida, we would stop at Cracker Barrels along the way because you always knew you were going to get something good, and you could bide your time waiting for a table in the old country store and check out the old-fashioned candy.
Yeah, you know what? I've been to Pizza Ranches before. Is that pretty similar? A Pizza Ranch
I've
or
never heard
a
of
soup
that.
plantation?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
I can't say.
anyways, I'm so angry about the Cracker Barrel.
But the food is so good. I mean, it's like down home country cooking, you know? So you've got like the chicken and dumplings, that's what they're known for, and maybe their big breakfast menu, but it's a fantastic spot. I don't think they needed to change. Yeah, it does. We'll have to find one.
Yeah, you can educate me a little bit more.
Okay, I will.
Skydive Chicago, they broke an Illinois skydiving record. So let's talk about it. The skydivers, they met for the first time in 3 years last week to attempt a record-breaking dive. More than 450 people flew out of their planes into different formations and sizes that the world hadn't previously seen. Okay, here's some footage. I was waiting for this. So divers flew from 19,000 feet up headfirst, mimicking a Superman flight as they shot towards the ground at 180 miles per hour in a group of 200. They had just 60 seconds to form a predetermined narrative.
That is so cool.
Snowflake, unlink hands, and deploy their parachutes. Another 250 skydivers then coordinated to break the 250-way Illinois state record, one where divers flew parallel to the surface. That is terrifying.
It is, but look how beautiful that video is, and look how blue that water is. I love it. I'm wondering how they all fell at the same speed, because one would think if you're a little lighter than someone who's a little heavier, you know, you'd be falling at different rates.
I have no idea, and I don't really care to ever go skydiving either.
Yeah, it's not on my list either.
Honestly, just thinking about it, like if someone were to really sit me down and explain it like they're in that situation, I'd be terrified, even listening.
No, I couldn't even walk up to the edge of the plane. That is not for me, for sure. But congrats to those brave people who made it out alive. And this skydiving place is in Ottawa. down in LaSalle County.
I think. Oh, it is okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was. What is the big indoor place called?
Is it iFly?
iFly, yeah. For some reason, I was thinking that, and I was like, wait, that makes no sense. Now
No, because I don't think that many people would fit in that little tube.
No, it wouldn't. But I was like, oh, maybe it's people. What's the iFly coming together to skydive Chicago? But this is really awesome.
It is. The video totally makes that one.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have a lot more to talk about. Again, we're talking about living a healthier lifestyle. So we're going to bring in a doctor coming up to chat about some tips and tricks for you. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Chicago Now. You know, Natalie, I hear a lot of times that when it comes to healthcare, people feel like they're really just being treated for their symptoms or what's going on right then instead of, you know, the whole body approach. And so that's one of our topics today is talking about integrative medicine. So we have Dr. Amy Offit, an integrative medicine physician who helps patients with complex conditions reclaim their health. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you.
Oh, we are so happy to have you. For people at home who don't know, what is integrative medicine?
That's such a good question. I try to explain that to patients, and it's a little challenging to describe, but it's really the best of conventional medicine paired with therapies that are often categorized as complementary. Really, the emphasis is on prevention, life habits, and then also just connecting all the different body systems into one rather than just focusing on symptom management, which is more what the traditional medical model is based on.
So Dr. Amy, are you looking at a patient's symptoms and saying this could be the root cause of those things and this is what you need to do differently?
Definitely. In my practice, I treat a lot of complex, chronically ill patients. And so I'm always looking for what happened to them. So the history is very important. I spend a very long time with each patient to try to sort out what happened to that patient to result in the symptoms that they've developed over time. And that's where a lot of good information is that we don't always have time to talk about in a shorter appointment. So most integrative practices do, I would call it more of a deep dive, looking at what happened to the patient, what's going on with the patient now, and how can we piece it all together to start to peel back anything that could be, optimized or treated to actually get rid of the symptom rather than just giving a medication to reduce the symptom.
Let me ask you this, what is one really common chronic illness that you're seeing, and how are you approaching that particular chronic illness?
So In the last couple of years, I've seen a huge rise in autoimmune diseases. And, it's a grouping of different diseases where the immune system basically starts to turn on the patient, and it may affect the thyroid, it might affect the digestive tract, it might affect the brain. I mean, it could honestly affect almost any part of a person's body. And I believe that almost every single autoimmune condition warrants an evaluation looking for an underlying infection or an underlying exposure. And when I go looking for those things, I often will find them. And once I treat them, oftentimes the autoimmunity can improve or be somewhat reversed. There's certain ones like type 1 diabetes is not reversible, but I have been able to reverse some autoimmune conditions in other patients, like rheumatoid arthritis, like Hashimoto's thyroiditis, some especially GI-related autoimmune diseases like Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, without the patient having to have surgery or take a lot of medication or do other more drastic measures.
What typically is the most common fix for I know it is integrative health, so like you're looking at the person as a whole, everybody's different. But if you were to pick one commonality, would it be people in general not getting enough sleep, not getting enough exercise, their diet? What is usually at the core in most cases?
I think of really 5 pillars that I try to not forget to touch on with every patient. Sleep is definitely extremely important. How people look at the world and their level of stress is extremely important in healing. Nutrition, of course, is very important, including hydration. So many of my patients don't get enough hydration, and it causes a lot of catabolism or breakdown. Things like, pain. People who don't manage their pain and sort of walk around in pain all the time are also going to eventually develop some sort of chronic health issue, because it just starts to really wear on that person's health. And so, looking at the person as a whole, I think positive outlook is one of the most underappreciated ways that people can influence their own health outcomes. And it is sad, though, because I do see a lot of patients who have gotten somewhat discouraged and downtrodden with being prescribed a lot of medications, and now they feel stuck on the medications and they still don't feel, resilient and strong and capable of doing the things they want to do. So sometimes I start with that, where we work to see what medications can we replace or reduce, and even that can help people feel better.
Do you think because you're integrative medicine, are people hesitant to come to you because you aren't, the standard, I'm going to the hospital kind of office?
I think it depends on what a person wants. A lot of people, I find more and more, want a more well-rounded approach to health and healing, and they're not as interested in just being prescribed a medication. So if someone really wants that, and I can identify that early on, I will oftentimes say, there's a doctor down the street that does exactly what you're looking for, and I think you should go and have that kind of care. Whereas, the patients that want this kind of care, they're really enjoyable to partner with. I consider them a partner in crafting a strategy for healing, and I don't think people are afraid to come unless maybe their spouse makes them come. And then sometimes I can see early on it might not be a good fit, because you do have to work and participate. If you're going to get an integrative medicine consult, there's going to be some ownership and some work to be done with regard to cleaning some things up to make, for a better outcome. I wish there was a simple pill for a symptom approach that worked, but honestly, I don't think that really is all that helpful. Definitely, I use prescription drugs. I mean, I'm an MD. I was allopathically trained, and after about 7 or 8 years of practicing that way, I just saw a lot of gaps, which is what prompted me to go back to school, and I got a master's in integrative medicine, and I'm boarded in integrative medicine so that I know more about what a patient can be offered. And I still use conventional therapies when they're appropriate. It's just not my only tool.
I've got a couple ailments that I'm going to throw your way, if you can give me kind of the most common solution to all of them. So let's say there's someone at home who is low energy and tired all the time. What would you recommend?
I would start by asking a lot of questions about sleep, about nutrition, about hydration, about exercise patterns, about stress level. And then from what I learned, I would try to help that person either overcome or adjust in each of those areas. I'll just say that a lot of my patients come to me not sleeping well. They get 4 hours or 5 hours of poor quality sleep. A lot of them are on a sleeping pill already. And so I will combine different, sometimes we use herbals, sometimes we use medications, sometimes we combine them, or I even use some IV therapies in my practice to help like take away inflammation of the nervous system. That often will help people relax. I use things like vagus nerve stimulators. Like I have a lot of patients that wear those to go to sleep, and it helps them stimulate the side of their nervous system that's getting overshadowed by fight or flight. It's called your parasympathetic nervous system. And you need that to be engaged so that you can rest and digest and relax and kind of renew and restore. So when someone is in a lot of pain or under a lot of stress, that side of the nervous system often gets overshadowed. So there are tools, like even some of them are not medications, that we can give. I mean, very simple things. Many patients take magnesium, some take theanine, some have a little bedtime ritual that helps them wind down and engage better in sleep initiation. So you're exactly right. Like it is very individualized to each patient.
So I was going to ask, like, what about weight gain? You know, that's another one.
That's a big one.
Can you give us some quick tips on that?
So when I'm looking at a patient, I like to ask them a lot of questions again. I found that most people have multifactorial weight gain, but if someone gains weight all over, that's often an insulin resistance issue, and they need support to overcome their insulin resistance, starting with learning what the person eats. Adjusting what someone eats would be the most basic foundational way of lowering insulin resistance, which helps with weight loss. When fasting insulin especially, is elevated, you cannot lose weight. You just cannot. It's like blocking the release of free fatty acids in the weight loss process. Some people will gain weight more in the middle. So the insulin resistant patient will gain weight all over. When people gain weight in the middle, it's more of a cortisol issue. So I know when I see someone that's relatively thin but has a large abdomen, that person is probably under a lot of stress. So starting to talk to the person about what's driving that, to help them see, are there, even if we try to help their body feel that it's less stressful, if the situation doesn't change, sometimes will help. And then the third one can be like things like hypothyroidism, or like inflammatory conditions. I mean, people who get mold exposed often will gain weight, I think, as a compensatory kind of adaptation, that it's just because they're so inflamed. So their metabolism sort of is secondary to just survival. And so when you look at each person and kind of size up where they're gaining weight, how they're gaining weight, and how it came on, that's kind of step one to look at how could we potentially reverse that.
You talked about mold exposure, and I know we're going to have someone else on that's going to maybe go into it a little deeper, but is that common, mold exposure, and people having symptoms to that?
It's actually everywhere. It's just certain people are sensitive to it, which might explain why you might have a household of people who are all exposed and only one or two of them are having any health issues. And it's kind of, this is an interesting thing. Patients will get online and they will diagnose themselves, and then they will come to me and say, I have this or I have that. I find most patients it's more complicated and it's multifactorial, but I always include that in my potential problem list, because if you don't treat that, then a lot of the other things we treat also don't really get better.
That
so
is
it is
an
very
interesting
common. It's just not that everyone is sensitive to it. It's there's sort of predisposing factors to have a sensitivity to mold.
I think we're so busy. A lot of the time we kind of shoo off things that are going on with our bodies. Like, for instance, we wake up so early, so we always are like tired, dead tired, maybe at 2 o'clock. But what are some red flags that you listen for when you're talking to people? And those red flags would be like, okay, you should go to an integrative medicine physician. What are some of those things so that everyone in the audience knows?
Well, of course I'm biased, but I practiced regular medicine or allopathic traditional medicine before moving over to integrative medicine. And if someone just has maybe an intuition that they don't want to take prescription medicine for maybe whatever symptom they're having, an integrative doctor can look at them and give them a different approach. I spend a lot of time with my patients. Aren't like you guys. You guys are healthy and strong and you're able to rebound even after you're sleep deprived. But over time, a lot of the patients I treat who have chronic complex illness are those overachiever, go-getter people who really expend a lot of energy and don't always adequately recover. I tell all my patients who I treat for chronic infections, probably they had the infection before and they just wore themselves down to a point where the infection had an opportunity to flourish, and then they become really ill and they have to rest to recover. So, if you start craving sugar all the time, if you start craving caffeine, if you need a nap every day, probably there's something going on that could warrant speaking with an integrative doctor to try to sort it out before it becomes more of a severe health issue. And the further that someone goes down the road of chronic complex illness, the more challenging it can be to try to reverse some of those symptoms, although we do try it and try to work with patients like that all the time.
Okay, doctor, if someone at home is listening and they think, okay, I want to go visit you, where do you practice? How can they find more information about you?
So I am actually the current president of ILADS, which is the International Lyme and Associated Diseases Society. And I mentioned them because we have a large number of practitioners all around the US and even in other countries who look for root cause or underlying cause in patients that have chronic illness. I'm located just outside of Austin, Texas, in Marble Falls, Texas. But it would be more meaningful, I think, for if someone is really looking for a doctor to look for underlying issues, if they went to ilads.org and went through the provider search option, they could find doctors or nurse practitioners or naturopaths or other clinical providers in their area and get a nice consultation where they could get more of an insight into what's going on with them.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Amy Offit. We really appreciate your time, and we'll make sure to post that somewhere so that people can go and get some more information. But yeah, we really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Yeah, interesting stuff. Okay, coming up, we're going to talk more about chronic illness, kind of take more of a deep dive with integrative medicine, because I think we can still touch on, maybe some vitamins that people should look out for, some more red flags that people should think of too from their day-to-day, and to see if this might be a good option for them. Absolutely. So we'll be right back after this break.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. So we're talking more about chronic illness, and things like Lyme disease can be debilitating for so many people, but not just that. There are people who have constant pain in their lives. So from autoimmune disease to Lyme, mold exposure, we touched on that with the last doctor, and something that I had never heard of before, it's called mast cell activation syndrome. Many patients spend years searching for answers, Gabby, and they just can't get to the root cause with their own doctor. So joining us now is Dr. Tanya Dempsey, an internationally recognized expert in chronic complex conditions. She's going to shed light on how integrative medicine can help patients find relief. Doctor, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So I think a lot of people have heard of Lyme disease, and of course so important in our area with those deer ticks. They've especially been very prevalent this year, and that can cause Lyme disease. But what about mast cell activation syndrome? What is that?
Mast cell activation syndrome is it's an inflammatory immune problem. So the way I like to think about it is mast cells are everywhere in the body. Everyone has them. They're really our front line of defense against the environment. So again, everyone will mount an attack if they're attacked by a virus, by some kind of infection, by some environmental toxin. These mast cells have sort of ammunition inside of them. They have these chemicals that they make. One of them that many people may have heard of is histamine. Mast cells actually make thousands of different chemicals, but when they see something that they see as foreign, and in some cases actually mast cells are also involved in allergies. They see pollen, they see mold, they see infection. They essentially explode. And they release these various chemicals, and they cause a first localized and then a more systemic inflammatory reaction in the body. When someone gets an allergic reaction, right, to pollen, let's say, or something they've eaten, right, they get swollen, they get itchy eyes, they get runny nose, they may have trouble breathing. So that can happen anywhere in the body, and sometimes it's not even an allergy, doesn't look like an allergy, won't be an allergy. These mast cells can act everywhere. They are found everywhere in the body where they're in communication with the environment. And so they're very important. But the problem is that in some people, the mast cells have become dysfunctional. They're not just reacting to the environment the way they should. They are in fact reacting as if they are they don't know what's going on. They're acting inappropriately. And so in people who have this chronic condition, mast cell activation syndrome, their body thinks everything is sort of poison to them. And they start to really react over time more and more. We know that there are infections like Lyme disease that can absolutely set off mast cell activation syndrome. We know that COVID, we know mold, we know lots of different things can cause mast cells to become more activated, and in some cases stay activated. And so these patients wind up with very, very complicated, complex conditions, really involving any part of their body.
Let me ask you this. Do you find that a lot of chronic illnesses, I mentioned this to the last doctor we spoke to, we're busy, things go dismissed, but do you find that a lot of chronic illnesses don't get diagnosed properly, that people kind of live their life maybe for years, for a century without really knowing what's going on with their body?
Yeah. Unfortunately, by the time patients often come to me, they've been struggling for decades. Sometimes they have a stack of records from the Mayo Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic, every doctor that in their area, every doctor all over the world, and it's been many years, and no one has really spent the time to think about how these different symptoms are related to each other. Very often, these patients will have different symptoms that seem to be unrelated, right? This is the most common thing I see. They have headaches, but they also have stomach pains. They have knee pain, joint pains, muscle pains. They have brain fog. They have depression. They have, these various symptoms. And so what winds up happening is they go to the the headache doctor, the neurologist for their headaches. They go to the GI doctor for their stomach pain. They go to either an orthopedist or a rheumatologist for their knee pain. And they're basically, right, this is what modern medicine is about. It's, you have a problem, you go to the specialist who can take care of that particular problem. But no one has really taken the time, which is what I do, to really try to fit the pieces together into the puzzle. There's a puzzle, and all the pieces will fit in somehow, but no one has taken the time to understand that the headaches and the stomach pain and the knee pain and the muscle pains and all these things are actually rooted in maybe one or two, at most usually, conditions that are causing this inflammatory. This is all inflammation. Causing an inflammatory reaction, and more we are seeing mast cell activation syndrome actually as the root cause of these symptoms. There's something that triggered it, and the triggers are important to talk about, but ultimately the symptomatology, the things that the patients are dealing with, are because there's an inflammatory reaction in their body, and it's setting up shop in their brain, or it's setting up shop in their knees, or it's setting up shop in their GI tract. But again, people are then, specialists are honing in to that one symptom and not understanding that there's a bigger problem.
What is the solution oftentimes? Is it diet? I would think it would be, or maybe something in their home. I mean, what do you find?
Yeah. So what I do is I go through, I get a very thorough history, and then we start to go through potential triggers. So the triggers could be things that they're putting inside their body. Something to one person that may be perfectly fine may not be good for another person, right? There may be a food or a class of foods or something like that could certainly act as the trigger. It could be, too much sugar. It could be dyes in actually even in some pills that they're taking. Lots of pills on the market have all these blue dyes, red dyes, etc. Maybe they're being exposed to something that way. So there's something internal going into them that we have to look at. We also have to understand the environment that they live in, and more we are seeing a really incredible problem with mold exposure. It has to do with the building materials that are used. It has to do with whether the home has been remediated after a flood or a leak or water intrusion into the home. And so lots of times what happens is patients don't even realize they're being exposed to something. They're breathing it in, and it's making them sick. We start to do some testing. We start to suggest they move out of the area they're in, even for a brief period of time, to get some information to try to figure out, again, what is the trigger. Triggers could be things like, believe it or not, things like breast implants, things that went into the body that the body is now recognizing as foreign and bad for it. It could be things like stress. I really have to mention some of the easy things. It's not so easy, obviously, but things that we maybe don't think about as often. But increased stress, not enough sleep. There are all these factors, and it's important that we go through all of it and try to hone in on the ones that are really affecting the patient the most.
Maybe this is a silly question for you, but is there testing that you recommend for people to test their home if they, have mold around? I mean, it seems like it's invisible, right? How would you know if you have it?
Well, that's the thing, and there's actually a little bit of a misunderstanding about mold. A lot of people think that you have to see black mold, and black mold is the problem, and nothing else is really a problem. And mold can be different colors. It could be white, could be green, could be black, and they're all bad. And they can often be colorless. They can be in the HVAC system and not visible. And so there are testing systems. There are home tests that they can do on their own. I have some of that on my website that they can look at. there are very qualified, certified mold inspectors essentially that can come to the home and take a look and inspect the home and see if there are areas that are could probably be problematic, based on maybe they see some evidence of some water intrusion or something like that. But so there are sort of like DIY ways to sort of figure it out first, try to get some understanding of it. We also have testing that we can do on the patient to see if they've had mold exposure as well. So we put the two pieces of information together.
This information is so valuable, and I'm wondering, a lot of times certain treatments are cost prohibitive for people. Excuse me.
It's true.
Are your services covered by insurance?
Unfortunately not. And the reality is that I spend 3, 4, 5 hours sometimes with a new patient. I spend hours with follow-up patients, sometimes especially if they're in the midst of a major flare. The insurance model really, sort of recognizes a 10 or 15 minute visit at most, maybe 20 minutes for a new patient. I really admire doctors who are still working in the system because we need them for sure, and they're important, but insurance does not recognize, unfortunately, the type of work that we do and the amount of time we spend. Having said that, we really do our best to try to get some of the testing, a lot of the testing, and a lot of the other things that we do here covered by insurance. We'll use a lab that is recognized by and accepted by their insurance, like Quest or LabCorp or whatever. We try to get as much as we do here covered by insurance, even though the visit itself isn't covered.
Okay, well, thank you for being transparent with that. Now, we could talk to you for hours. We're running out of time, but I do have a question for you because we always love free medical advice around here.
Who doesn't?
We love free legal advice.
Since
we love
we've got
free medical advice. So we have a director that's behind the scenes, and I remember him saying that he has chronic pain. I think it was chronic Lyme, and then now he's dealing with fibromyalgia. What is some advice? I know that's blanket. You haven't seen him, you haven't talked to him, but what can he do? Because I know there's probably people at home who are dealing with something kind of similar.
So, the first thing is really to find somebody who can really get the right history, to dig deep, to figure out the root causes. Like Dr. Offit mentioned earlier, I'm on the board of ILADS, the International Lyme and Associated Disease Society, and we do have a network of physicians and medical practitioners all over the world, essentially, who know how to dig deep. Things that he can start to think about on his own, or looking at the diet and seeing if there are inflammatory foods that he's eating. Fibromyalgia is a little bit of a buzzword for mast cell activation syndrome. Again, I'm not going to diagnose him, but I'm going to say that it may be worth seeing somebody who has some experience with this condition, MCAS, to see if maybe that is at the root. Maybe the Lyme is chronic. Maybe there are other infections, they're called co-infections, that are associated. There are infections called Bartonella, Babesia, and lots of others that can cause pain. So he might really benefit from seeing somebody who's been trained the way we've been trained, to think about all these possibilities, because I will say there's a lot of hope. I want to leave everyone with this message that we have a lot of answers now, more and more in terms of the types of testing we can do, more on these types of illnesses. And so there is hope, because knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. So once you know what's going on, there are treatment options that he maybe doesn't even, know about. So that's what I think, let's leave with that note that there's a lot of hope for.
I like that ending note. Thank you very much, Doctor. We appreciate your time. Dr. Tanya Dempsey, internal and integrative medicine physician. We appreciate you. Thank you for the advice. We'll have you back on again, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good day.
Take care.
All right, coming up, we're going to switch gears just a little bit. We're going to talk about wellness and with a wellness influencer.
I'm excited about this one.
Tips and tricks.
All right, I want to look like J-Lo, okay?
Yeah,
so make sure you
I think
get the
they're hearing
prescription.
that over on in the green room here that we have. Okay, Nat, we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Chicago Now. Okay, we've been talking about living a healthier lifestyle. And right now we have with us a wellness influencer who is Chicago-based, Lauren Les. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much.
We
for
appreciate
having
it. Okay, Lauren, what first inspired you to step into wellness space and share your journey with others?
Yeah, so I have a lot of like chronic health issues that I developed several years ago, and then I suddenly developed food allergies too. So that kind of inspired me to start my page and like start sharing about my journey.
Interesting. Can I ask what kind of things you're dealing with?
Yeah, so I've been diagnosed with mast cell activation syndrome, a connective tissue disorder, POTS, Lyme disease, and I've had like mold exposures that kind of set off all of those issues, and then like suddenly developed all these like IgE food allergies, like the type where you have to carry an EpiPen. So that just randomly happened when I was 25. So.
Interesting.
That is, it's someone so young. I was going to say, you know, it really seems like you have been down different paths and learned a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, because we were just getting done talking to a couple doctors about some of the things that you just mentioned. So it's good to see that now we, you know, have a face to it kind of, and have some tips and tricks for people at home who might be dealing with some of the same symptoms as you are. So from supplements to diets to exercise plans, how do you cut through the noise, the weeds of what really works?
Yeah. I think for me, it's like most important for me to really listen to my body, and I've honestly found that like the lifestyle pillars like sleep and diet and things like stress have been the most important for me, and movement. There's a lot of noise on social media. You can find conflicting opinions. Someone will say eat only meat, and then someone will say only fruit, only veggies, and I've just found that like a balanced approach has been the best for me.
Can I ask you, has there been anything on social media that you found you're like, oh, maybe this is really gonna work for me? You try it and it hasn't really worked for you? I know that's a very particular question, but do you have one in mind?
I'm trying to think. I think a lot of the diet noise, like I'll try different diets and things like that, and maybe they won't work for me, or specific exercises that don't necessarily work for me because my body, I have a connective tissue disorder, so I have to like do more gentle, low impact things. So you'll find somebody being like, do HIIT all the time,
right?
And that's great for you, but that might not be good for me. So that's why it's so individual.
So you brought in some things here, and I assume this is going to go along with the next question. Some back to school or fall wellness tips. What do you have for us?
Yeah, I actually just did like a back to school swaps thing. So I think, you know, there's like better options for lunch boxes, like using stainless steel instead of plastic, or stainless steel water bottles instead of plastic. There's lots of like healthier foods that you can put in lunch boxes. Cleaning
like
supplies.
what? Because I'm a mom and I'm always looking for ideas. So what would you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a mom, but like a lot of the things I eat too. So there's like better fruit snacks, like solely that have like 2 ingredients versus like several ingredients with like artificial flavors and colors. Yum Earth makes a lot of different like candy. And then, you know, fruits, vegetables, focusing on things like that, obviously. There's different like nut butters that have like simpler ingredients that don't have like sugar. So yeah, some of those are like things to look at.
Do you find that you're really, you know, letting your audience know that ingredients are important? Because you probably found that in your journey that you really need to look at the label.
Yes, for sure. And so because I got diagnosed with food allergies, that's what made me start really looking at the labels and starting to read things, because before I just would pick up a food and eat it, and I never had to look at the label.
Okay, so dive into what else you brought in here.
Yeah, so I brought, this is like a non-toxic candle that uses beeswax and essential oils.
Okay. Let Gabby smell it. She wants to smell it.
Yeah, smell it.
I will smell it.
It smells good.
Let's see. Oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah.
Oh, cinnamon,
it's not
orange
too
clove.
cinnamon. It's not too too orange.
Sometimes I get headaches from candles.
But
so
this is
I like
something.
That one.
Yeah, and that's what happens a lot because there's like chemicals being released into the air. So this one's like a better.
And
swap.
what brand is that one?
This is Fontana.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so even going in a grocery store and stuff like that, being in that candle aisle or in Target, you get overwhelmed by the smells.
Yeah.
Could that trigger, you know, someone with an autoimmune disease or someone like you to be maybe there for too long?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of avoid like those aisles and the cleaning supplies because I just get like dizzy. Like I'm very sensitive, so I notice that I have symptoms if somebody has a candle lit in their house, or if I go down a cleaning aisle, or like even just being out and like somebody just cleaned, the chemicals bother me, and that's what I think people who are sensitive start to realize.
Okay, what else did you bring in?
This is like a less toxic cleaner. They have like a whole set where you just like fill up the bottles, and then this is a swap, basically like a glass instead of plastic swap.
Is that for like a lunch or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really cute actually.
I like that because you know what? The ones that I have are like the big heavy, let me see how heavy that is. Oh yeah, this isn't bad at all. The big, the square ones,
Yes, the ones from
lids
Costco
fit all
and
wonky and
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I love this because the lid screws on.
And it's cute.
Can you microwave this?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, well that's fantastic.
And this is another kitchen swap that you could do.
Yes, so this is like a wood cutting board instead of plastic. There's been a lot of like talk about microplastics lately, so I wanted to touch on that. So like glass instead of plastic, wood instead of plastic, because then when you're like chopping food, you can get like the
I have a lot of problems in my house. My goodness, I need to make a lot of changes.
Well, and
I could be a new woman, Gabby.
You could be, Nat. And we have a laundry refill wash. Wow, you really brought a lot of examples in. Thank you. But this is something, I mean, you're wearing your clothes, so yes.
They're touching your skin, and I actually was like getting hives from using like regular detergent that had a bunch of chemicals in it. So this one's really good because it smells really good and really strong. So I think it's an easy swap for people to make because a lot of people like that like strong, good smell.
Yeah, I'm gonna prop it up here. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a good one too.
All right, and then the pans are, because you don't want the nonstick stuff coming off, right?
Yeah.
And eating that, ingesting that.
Yeah,
Honestly, with all these examples, yes, they're different than what we're seeing in the stores, like, you know, right in front of our face, but it doesn't seem like they'd be that expensive of swaps that you could make, right?
For sure. I mean, I just did like a whole budget-friendly series too. Like there's tons of things that you can grab on Amazon or wherever that are just like better swaps that aren't super expensive, like the best top of the line.
Where can you find that information?
So I have like a bunch of information on my Substack. I do a series every Sunday where I send out swaps. So I do different categories.
Okay, for people at home who are interested in learning more advice from you, because even if you don't have a chronic illness, you're not dealing with all these symptoms, you can still make these healthy swaps just to live a healthier lifestyle. Where can they follow you?
At Less with Lore on Instagram or TikTok.
Okay, and is it a lot of swaps, or what other content are you producing?
I do a lot of recipes too, and just like wellness, because I had to change my entire diet, so I had to go gluten-free, dairy-free, and I have several other allergies too. So that's really how I started, is with the recipes. And then I just share like wellness tips and things that I'm doing to help with my overall health.
I'll check it out. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Lauren Luss, thank you very much. Chicago-based, a wellness voice here, a wellness influencer. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you bringing everything in, and we will be right back.
Thank you.
Well, we only have a little bit of time left here in the last hour of Chicago Now, but a really interesting show. You know, we're talking about living a healthier life. We talked to a lot of integrative medicine physicians, giving some advice with that. Also, the wellness influencer that we just spoke to. I would say this is a pretty successful show.
I would say I'm poisoning myself is what I've found.
I know,
and I'm lucky to be alive at this point.
It is scary, but I do like how, especially Lauren, who we just got done talking to, she made it pretty easy to know some easy swaps to do in your household. So hopefully you learn more while you watch us continually. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at Noon.
Next at noon, Governor Pritzker continues to push back against President Trump and his calls for deploying the National Guard.
That chill in the air means it is time for our favorite fall beverages. Pumpkin Spice is back at several coffee chains. We're looking into what makes it so popular.
The fall-like weather is continuing today, but the sun is still shining. Caitlin has the weather for us in just a moment.
Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Brian Jackson.
And I'm Sylvia Perez. Let's give you a live look outside. Definitely feeling like fall. Something happens in the mid of August and the beginning of September where we're reminded it's almost time for the cold weather to come.
It is.
And then we end up having this beautiful, like, mild September.
We just need to, like, keep it right here.
Yes. But this is
I
our
agree with
little
you.
tease, right?
It's perfect. And it's pumpkin spice latte day. I think I'm gonna participate. Oh no.
No, I'm not
Sylvia
a
doesn't
pumpkin
like
spice
sweet
girl.
coffee.
I like pumpkin, but not pumpkin spice coffee.
Not to drink it. No,
Yeah.
not a fan.
Fine, I'll be the only one.
Yeah.
Shoot. No, it is a cool day. It's beautiful. We have a few clouds out there. You can see from the regional view that we had a little bit of light rain also missing Chicago, but coming down from LaPorte to Berrien County. So for the rest of the day, we are going to have a few clouds around and the temperatures will be cool. We have that beach hazard again today, northwest Indiana until this evening. High waves are expected from Lake DePorter to LaPorte, even Berrien County there in southwest Michigan. So stay out of Lake Michigan today, especially in northwest Indiana. Even in Chicago, though, we could see some high waves. Temperatures outside ranging in the 60s and 70s. It's 70 on the dot at the lakefront and in Gary, 68 at Michigan City, 71 from O'Hare to Waukegan, upper 60s for our far western counties. And our day planner has temperatures reaching around 72 degrees by 3. I think around 74 will be our high today. Temperatures are going to be warming up tomorrow before the chance for rain increases by Thursday. Full check of your forecast.